Hey there, my name is Angela. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the FeiyuTech G6 Max Gimbal. Okay, so that has to be one of my favorite parts about using this little thing right here, is turning it on and kind of watching it come to life and have a mind of its own. It's like having a little robot in your hand, and call me lame, but this is my first ever gimbal. So when I first turned it on, I was super stoked and excited just to see it pop up like that. And anyways, I'm just gonna jump into this and tell you more about this little guy, starting with the price. On FeiyuTech's website and on Amazon, you can find this gimbal for $229, which is pretty affordable when it comes to gimbals. It's not really a mess up your life kind of expense. I also saw it listed on eBay for $219, but I think eBay's kind of those get it while you got the chance type of listing things. This little guy is very compact and lightweight. I've actually been holding it like this for quite a while, just trying to film my intro and turning it on and telling you all this information right now. And my arm's feeling okay. I'll tell you that now. It has my phone on there at the moment because I wanted you to have a clear image of it, and I'm using my Canon M50 to record all of this right now. I do have some footage of my Canon M50 on it as well, but I'll show you that later. But let's talk about the specs on this. So the payload for this, which means the amount of weight that it can handle, is 2.65 pounds. And that's pretty good. I've had my Canon M50 on it with my 55 to 200 millimeter lens, which is my longest focal length, and I didn't think it was gonna handle it, but it did. I also have put my Canon M50 with my mount adapter and my Nifty 50 on it as well, and it worked just fine. It's all about finding the balance and learning how to really shift things to balance the lens weight, and so long as you got that down, then it's good. It also has this little like LED screen, which is pretty cool. It tells you the battery life, which mine is getting pretty low because I've been using it pretty much all day shooting B-roll for this video. It also tells you whether or not you're connected to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and it tells you the shooting mode that you're in as well. So speaking of shooting modes, let's get into that. This gimbal has 4 different modes that you can switch to with a touch of a button. The first one is called panning mode, which is the default, and it is set to that right now. This mode allows you to move the gimbal left and right, but it keeps the tilt still, so no matter what, it is locked in at a straight tilt, not going up and down, you know? But if you were to switch to follow mode, then you can switch the tilt where it starts going down and up based on how you're moving your hand. Oop. You can see that, see how it's going down, and then see how it's going up now. Yeah, so that's follow mode. Then there's also all follow mode, which it just goes by whatever the hand's doing completely. Woo. See that? It follows it completely. It doesn't care what it does. Yeah, so that's all follow mode. There's also one last mode called lock mode. Let me just switch that over. So locks everything into place. So if you move up and down, it will stay in the same position. If you move left and right, it will stay in the same position. So that's pretty cool if you're trying to film something but you're busy talking to someone and you're a hand talker like me. It's not moving. All right, let's move on. Aside from the 4 basic modes, the gimbal also comes with 3 more advanced modes, which are pretty fun to play with. The first is called Inception, and it looks like this. So it points straight up, and then you can have it spin right, or you can have it spin left, and you can set the speed on it. So let me make it go faster, watch this. And now it's spinning faster. And I think this would be cool to use if you're trying to film like skyscrapers in the sky and you want some kind of crazy feeling of chaos and disruption or dizziness. I think this would be a fun feature to use in that kind of circumstance. Personally, I haven't made a video like that, but if I ever wanted to, I have this option. So the next mode is something that is probably a little bit more likely for me to use, and that is called portrait mode. So if you hold it like this and then set it to portrait mode, bam, you now are shooting in portrait. This is kind of cool for anyone who might be using this for Reels or TikTok and want that vertical layout rather than horizontal. So yeah, that could be really useful. And then the third one I haven't used yet, and it's kind of hard just to demonstrate like this. It is time lapse, which allows you to set a starting angle and an ending angle along with the duration that you want the gimbal to be moving from point A to point B. It kind of works if you're, say, filming the sun going through the sky and you literally want to follow it all the way from sunrise to sunset, and you want your gimbal to boom, follow its trajectory. Cool. It's a cool mode. I haven't used it yet, but I wanted to tell you about it since it is available. Let's move on. So when it comes to controls, this gimbal has a few notable little doohickeys. First is the multifunctional ring, or the magic ring, which allows you to swivel up and swivel down, and if you're connected to your camera, it allows you to adjust the white balance and exposure. I have not been able to connect this to my camera though, which kind of sucks and is a downside of this gimbal. I tried to connect it via Wi-Fi, which the directions say to do, and I have had no success. I connected my camera with the wire that it comes with, and that worked, but when I unplugged my camera from it, it reset my functions for my buttons. So whatever I click to record and stop recording and stuff like that. So I didn't really care for that, and I haven't reconnected it with the wire for that reason. Maybe it's a me issue, maybe it's a gimbal issue, but I have not been able to enjoy the magic ring to its full potential because I haven't connected my camera truly to the gimbal. So moving on though, aside from the magic ring, there's also a little joystick that allows you to tilt up and down as well, and also side to side. There is a shutter button, which again is very useful if your camera is connected. It allows you to start and stop recording or take photos. There's also the multifunctional button, which allows you to choose the modes that I told you about a little bit earlier in this video. And lastly, my favorite button on this gimbal has to be the trigger button, and the reason why it is my favorite button is because of this. Boom, selfie mode. A super quick and easy selfie mode. I don't know, I think it's just really cool that it's so easily accessible. You just gotta press the trigger 3 times and it spins around, and if you press it 2 more, it resets itself. And what's cool about the reset feature is, say you're messing with the joystick and you get it all wonky, but then, oh no, something cool is going on right in front of you and you want it to focus on that. Boom, reset. So now it is looking straight forward super quickly and easily. So that's pretty cool. So anyways, enough about the little controls on it. Let me tell you about balancing this mofo, because that can get kind of hard, not gonna lie. The first time I used the gimbal, it was like shaking like crazy because I didn't balance it correctly. I didn't even know that was a thing until I got this. A cool feature that this gimbal has when it comes to balancing is being able to lock everything into place. So right now all my axes are unlocked, and you can see they're all loosey-goosey, which could be kind of hard if you're trying to make adjustments, if things are just moving around. So they have these little locks that allow you to put everything into place, and that comes in handy because now it's safe for transport and you don't have to be fiddling around with it as it's moving. And the way you balance it is it has 3 different axes that you can adjust. You just unlock it, set it to whatever works, and then lock it into place, unlock it, set it to whatever works, and then I'll lock it into place. It's kind of hard actually when you're trying to adjust it for the first time, but after fiddling with it, you kind of get a hang of it, and that's pretty much it when it comes to balancing it. So now, probably the part that you guys have been looking forward to the most, and that is example footage that I took earlier today. I went to a local park and took some handheld shots and some gimbal shots just so you can see the difference. So I took a handheld shot with my 22mm lens on my Canon M50, and here it is. And now, in comparison, here is the same shot with my gimbal, and it also has the 22mm lens, by the way. And aside from the 22mm lens, I also took some sample footage with my Nifty 50, and here you can see the Nifty 50 on the gimbal and me struggling to balance it at first, but eventually I got it after messing with it a little bit and adjusting the motor speed via the app. And here is the handheld footage with the Nifty 50 on my Canon M50, and here is the gimbal footage with my Nifty 50 on my Canon M50. Aside from those two lenses, I also use my kit lens to demonstrate what it looks like walking with my Canon M50, kind of vlog style with a tripod. And here is a video of me walking with my Canon M50 and kit lens on my gimbal. And now here is some footage of me running with my Canon M50 with a kit lens on a handheld tripod. And here is footage of me running with my Canon M50 with a kit lens on this gimbal. And lastly, for those of you who are yet to own a camera or plan to use this with your iPhone, here is some handheld B-roll with an iPhone 10. And here is the same shot with an iPhone 10 on this gimbal. Overall, for the price, this gimbal does a good job. I do notice a difference in my B-roll when I am using it versus when I am not using it. Every once in a while, I do experience some shaky footage or a little bit of jolts here and there that weren't expected. However, that doesn't really happen enough to make me complain about it. I think overall, the footage I get is very smooth. I don't use this gimbal enough, and I think that's more of a me issue because the whole setup process of balancing it and taking off my camera strap, sometimes I don't have the patience for that, which, like I said, is more of a me issue. I can't blame the gimbal for that because it's doing its job, it's just I'm not doing mine. And that is something I need to work on, I guess. Another downside that I have for this gimbal that may or may not be a me issue is the struggle I've had with connecting it to my Canon M50. Like I said earlier, I've been able to connect it via the wire that it came with. That wire connection kind of messed up the functions of my buttons on my camera, which I didn't really care for. And I tried to also connect it via Wi-Fi, but I just haven't been able to. So that is a major downside in my eyes. And with that, that is all I have to say about the FeiyuTech G6 Max Gimbal. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And until next time, bye.